Hey y'all, guess what time it is? It's the Grolic Saves the World time.
All right, the Grolic saves the world.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're getting fixed, our worries are nixed. Let's have some cake while the Grolic saves the world. We're getting fixed, our worries are nixed. Let's have some cake while the Grolic saves the world. We're getting fixed, our worries are nixed. Let's have some cake while the Grolic saves the world.
Hello, welcome back to the Grolic Saves the
Yes.
World. I am Adam Caton Holland.
My name is Ben Roy.
Woo! And I'm Andrew Orbital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hell
Coming in
yeah.
hot today,
Coming in
bud.
like I'm on a water slide. Just imagine that I like in our podcasting studio, which doesn't exist. My entrance is like a water slide. And I come
Yeah, but you're like the old guy who's too heavy for the slide, so you're like
yeah, come in
shot
pretty
across
slow.
the water.
You hear me screaming
Coming out.
for a while before I emerge from the mouth of
Yeah,
the slide.
because you're dragging on the sides that are dry. That's how
Yeah.
high up you're getting on that.
A lot of lost skin on the back of the
Yeah.
thigh as Orbital just
a lot of
shoots
friction
into the
burns.
podcast.
I just sort of tumble out.
Yep. Whole clump of kids that have come up behind you that have been stopped. Yeah, you're definitely a clogged artery on that thing.
What would your custom entrance to the podcast studio be? The fictional
Ooh.
podcast studio.
Adam, do you want to go first?
Sure. The first thing that pops into my head is there's like a fucking country Mack truck. No, I'm not driving it, but it like shoots by and they throw me out of the moving vehicle into the podcast. And I kind of tumble roll right up to my
So
station.
you were like hitching and you overstayed your welcome and the trucker has had enough
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
your
And I-
libtard tomfoolery.
Exactly.
And he has ejected you.
He thought I was a normal hitcher going to talk MAGA shit, and I let my true colors shine. He tossed me out into the podcast.
If you don't call your next stand-up album Libtard Tomfoolery, you have missed a real opportunity.
All right, Ben, what's your signature? intro?
I've already had this drafted up for a while. It's okay. So I'm on a motorcycle, but the motorcycle, I'm not actually riding the motorcycle because it's almost like a cuckoo clock type thing. It's on a rail, the motorcycle,
Whoa.
and the part of the door opens up, and I come riding out on this motorcycle, but it's just on a rail, and then there's a fog machine, and then there's lights, and then the song "Final Countdown" by Europe is playing as I enter.
I feel like you have had that queued up for a long
Oh, yeah.
time.
So, if any of our listeners are Netflix executives, Ben's ready for a special. Ben is ready
And
for a
if you'd
Netflix.
like to fund our podcast studio, we're ready. We have the blueprints. There is a large water slide. There is a trucker.
But let's be clear, of
drive-through.
which a water slide of which Andrew is far too big for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's holding up the line.
And I'm
on
pretty
it.
small, so it's got to
Yeah.
be kind of a custom-sized water slide.
Well, I think this studio is going to have to be massive for the 3 separate, unique entrances that we're going to have. We each need our own wall to enter in the studio. But
Yeah.
I like that it's taking shape in our brain. You know,
Oh, yeah.
envision
Oh,
it.
that's the
Have
best
an
part.
ear peep.
That's the best part is that we all have such heavy visual entrances for an audio medium.
But you can hear the authenticity. If we were to fake,
You
if we
hear
were to
the
try to do it
water,
with
yeah.
effects, forget about it.
So I have a challenge idea for this
All right.
episode. I've been looking around my house, and I just have a lot of stuff.
No.
Just things that I don't.
No, Andrew, that is no.
I have a lot of stuff. And years ago, I did not an experiment, a project where every single day for a month, I got rid of one item in my house. I had to pick an item, and I had to throw it away, donate it, sell it, whatever. It left my house. For 30 days, I got rid of an item. It was a great month. I got rid of tons of stuff. I've never once looked back and regretted any of those things that I got rid
On
of.
day 30, you broke up with your girlfriend, kicked her right out onto the
I
street.
was like, and for the grand finale.
We're doing things different around here.
But it was great. And I do still donate stuff all the time. But I was thinking for this challenge, how about we spend a week and every day, let's get rid of an item and let's keep track of the stuff that we're getting rid of and kind of talk about why we decided to get rid of. And I'm not talking about easy shit like an old nonfiction book that you already read. You know, try to find stuff that you...
Whoa. Was that a dig at me?
It's a dick at all of us. We keep these nonfiction books around.
Are you getting rid of my nonfiction book, Andrew?
No, why?
I signed that to you.
I've got
And it's
2
definitely-
copies of Tragedy Plus Time signed here. Yeah,
I see that shit on eBay, Andrew. I'm gonna be furious.
If your name's Andrew, do I have the deal for you? A signed copy.
No, I like
did
this
not
challenge.
read it,
I think all of us can relate
yeah,
to
I
that.
like this a lot. I don't know for both of you, but I know from myself, I'm very much a minimalist in my mindset of like, I don't like owning a lot of things.
Dude, you are the biggest minimalist I've ever met. Every apartment I've ever been to across our entire friendship, there's very little. It's very sparse.
Yeah. I'll be
It's
very
just
curious
what's
what Ben even
necessary.
has to get rid of. He has
I
karate
don't-
pajamas and 3 motorcycles.
Yeah, and that's not
it.
going to happen. I'm not getting rid of my geese. I'm
Get
a
rid of
collector.
2 of your motorcycles and 8 of your geese.
Yeah.
No, it's funny, like growing up, my dad was very much like that. When my parents divorced, we lived in this apartment, and the first apartment my dad had when they divorced, he was just like, all right, we have 2 bowls, 2 knives, 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 plates, and like hand-me-down furniture. My dad did fairly well, but we lived in a very small 2-bedroom apartment. And my dad was like, we don't need all that shit. Isn't this great? We had nothing on the walls. And it was always kind of refreshing to not have to worry. I love knowing that if I want to get up and leave and just disappear and go somewhere.
Just go out for a pack of cigarettes and never come back.
You're living that fugitive lifestyle.
When
Hell
Chris-
yeah.
Ready to go at the drop of a hat.
When Crystal met me, I had all my belongings in a big purple duffel bag that said "Chow" in white letters across the side of it. And
What a renaissance man.
I didn't know you
ooh.
spoke Italian.
Ooh la la. I see you've traveled with this exact bindle, in fact.
To Ross.
it was like a bag you'd get at Ross,
Yeah.
and I could fit all of my belongings. My goal, really, until Crystal and I got an apartment together, was that I could fit all my belongings. And every bedroom I had when I first moved to Denver just had an air mattress in it with this bag unzipped and opened. They were like separated. I had my CDs on the right side of it, and then I had my stack of clothes and my shoes, and that's it. And
I like that weighing down that Chow bindle was like 2 just jammed full Case Logic CD things with like 400 CDs and like 2 T-shirts.
You can have my Soulfly CD when you pry it from my cold dead fingers.
Oh my God.
And I had a Geostorm, and I would just like huck that bag
Storms
into the
are
bag.
coming.
But I don't have stuff on my walls because it's confusing to me. It distracts me. Like if I'm trying to work and there's stuff on the walls, I stare at it or I get lost. And I get very confused.
Like a cat with a laser pointer.
Yes, exactly. That's why
Anything on the wall at all. And Ben is just not there anymore.
But like when we were in the writer's room, that window or whatever, like it's just very distracting to me. I have to be in quiet and in a completely white space. I mean, that's why when I see both your places, you both decorate, you both have stuff. And I am jealous of that in a way. Like I am like, well, this looks really nice. This is cool. I don't.
All right. Well, let's change the challenge to we get rid of stuff and give it to Ben.
Yeah. Well, let's get rid of one item a day
I don't
that
want
Ben
your
has
shit.
to put into his house.
I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want whatever game set Andrew is getting rid of, because you're not going to give me your good games, Andrew. You're going to give me your garbage, and then Adam's going to give me He's probably going to give me the light fixtures that were originally in his house, which were garish.
I do
And
have
you
art.
and I
You
both-
want art on your walls? I have art I don't have room for.
I don't want art on the walls. It'll distract me.
All right.
I'm serious.
That's crazy. So this will be very hard for you because I got way too much shit in my house also. And like when you have a child, people just give you gifts and baby books and clothes. And I have so much stuff that's his that we just don't need. I welcome this challenge.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what you both give away. And were your parents collectors? I mean, did they like collect things?
No, my parents. I can't even remember my parents buying anything my entire time growing up.
Are you kidding me? My dad is the biggest collector in the world. My dad's dad was an art dealer. And like when I think of my dad, he loves to go like I like to watch my dad haggle over a Persian rug or something like that. Like my dad has his dad's DNA in him. And so you get him buying
That's
something.
just science.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. Huh.
No way.
Oh, shit, that's the podcast. I gotta go, guys.
I don't have any of my dad's DNA in me, and it's been quite the scandal in our family.
I guess he has some of his je ne sais quoi in him.
Yeah.
Because my dad likes to acquire and like haggle over it and talk about it, and we're
like
definitely
when he
collectors.
travels, he comes back with a lot of stuff.
Totally, but like my dad's super into watches, and he's got a ton of antique watches, and he likes to learn about them and befriend people who own watch shops and go talk about them. He's just he likes to collect things and get fascinated by those things. And it could, it was baseball cards when he was a kid, and now it's watches, but it's always something different. He's got a collection of baseball books in the thousands, just
wow,
like
no kidding.
Shit like that. He likes to go down that rabbit hole. And I think I'm kind of the same.
Andrew, your parents didn't.
No, my dad did have a reasonable sized model airplane collection. For sure.
See, well, you've got model Star Wars shit in your house and Legos.
So I bet
there
you.
go.
I'm not
I'm starting
a
to think I have
scientist.
some of my dad's DNA.
You might have some of your
I think
dad's
I
DNA.
have
I'm not a
my
scientist.
dad's DNA.
You should have that looked at, Andrew.
We
Because
should
you
all
maybe-
get DNA tested this episode. New challenge. Let's see if our dads
one
are
of us,
actually
one of
our
us
dads.
finds out that our dad is not our dad.
And in the
Whoa, and
saddest
a
episode,
stunning twist.
the
Turns
saddest
out I had
episode of
zero DNA of my dad, which is a shock.
It's time
That's
to call
great.
my mom.
I think that's super interesting. Like how much you get of that from your parents' behavior, because my mom is quite the opposite of my father. She's not necessarily a collector, but she has plenty of stuff. But Crystal, my wife, is the opposite of me. So we kind of balance each other out, because I think if I wasn't such a minimalist, I tend to get very stressed out by new stuff coming in. I'm that dad that's like, well, what do we goddamn need that for? Huh? What are we spending money on? A new toothbrush holder? Are you out of your fucking minds? Are you out of your, what'd that cost you? $350? Are you fucking crazy? We could have used a beer can. I could tuck
impression of your dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and this
my-
impression is morphing geographically across.
My
Was your
dad
dad
was a
one of
man
the
of the world.
founding
My
Jerky
dad
Boys?
was a man of the world, and I've told
Okay.
you guys that he was
Okay.
he was a man of nowhere and of everywhere all at once. I've
Well, it
said that
started
before.
country
I've-
and went Bronx.
I've
Yeah,
met
went
your
country
dad.
and Bronx.
and I
Oh,
don't
I'm sorry.
think he
He's a
talks
fucking
that way.
American. I'm sorry. He's
All right.
American.
All right. Well, we're not trying
They
to shit
just-
on your accent.
They just invented the American accent.
But no, I think that this is going to be super interesting. This will be
But wait,
really
wait.
cool.
I got questions though. Like,
Okay.
we got to get rid of it. What are the rules? Do we?
Donate
am-
it.
It's however
Am
you want
I-
to get rid of it. It can go in the trash. Some things deserve to go in the trash. It can be
But what if-
donated to.
What if I
a
have
place.
7 things I want to donate? I got to do 7 trips to Goodwill like an asshole because it's
No,
different
put
days.
them in a box in your
Yeah.
garage, and at the end of the week, make one trip to Goodwill.
No. Actually, Andrew, let's rethink this. Let's make Adam do 7 separate trips.
Trips to Goodwill.
They'll
And
be
if
like,
you are going to
"Who is
Goodwill,
this?"
I'll tell you from experience, they have new, very tight windows for the donation center. So go.
The
at, like,
image of
noon.
Adam showing up each day with just one small item at the same good.
Hello, it's me again. I'm doing a challenge.
What the hell is wrong with this guy? And you sit there for a second and you talk to that thing because you're kind of attached.
This is gonna be
And
hard.
I don't let the Goodwill guys in on it. I just go in my store. I'm like, fucking Ben and Andrew. I doubt they're doing this. They have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I think, yeah, you can collect it up.
I wish I lived in my old neighborhood of Baker in Denver because Baker had a very robust alley culture. You could you put anything in the alley.
Goes. It's like
that shit was gone like
Yeah.
that. And it's not the same over here. I've moved up in the world a little bit, but the alley
you could leave anything
economy in
those-
Baker was
are you
like
kidding?
instant fucking
Milo had a
tedious.
little sister that we just left out there because, I mean, honestly, there were too many mouths to feed in the house. And I'm traveling a lot at this time. And I'm a dad now. You know, I'm fucking saying to this kid,
Again,
I'm saying if I could, you know, who are you? You know, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? And I come in as a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's asking about this character Ben's playing. Who are you?
No, I here is the same way in the neighborhood we live in. I mean, you put something out in an alley and it's gone very quickly. But I don't think anything I'll get rid of. I just always think no one's going to want my garbage, like, or the things I'm getting rid of. I'll try to donate most of it, but who's going to want? Like,
when you
Ben,
when you
have you
donate
heard
it,
this
then take
podcast?
it. They don't look at it and then go pass. You can put anything in that donation bin. If they pass on it, they'll get rid of it, but they won't give it back to you.
Okay, well, this is great. I love this challenge. I think anybody can relate to this challenge.
this is
It's like-
great.
it's going to be hard for Ben, but I'm very curious to see what he gives away.
Yeah, and
yeah,
you can
I'm
even
ready- I'm
sell
ready
it.
to do
Maybe
it.
but it has to be gone by the end of the
Just
week.
get it out of your house.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This sounds good. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? We'll listen to some comedy, some fresh comedic jams. This is Christy Buckley from our live show. And when we return, we'll see what we got rid of.
Growing up with a single dad is really weird. A lot of people are raised by their single moms with their rules and their love. You know, stupid. It's a little different with the single dad. Just like to give you a little idea, this is what I will get for Christmas from my dad. A card with a check in it that he'll hand me in front of everyone. And then later, he'll whisper in my ear, "Don't cash that, please." There's no money. That's what it's like being raised by a single father. If you want to know what else it's like being raised by a single father, hope you like sleeping on a futon, you know? Hope you like eating Spam for every meal, okay? Being raised by a single father is, I hope you like getting a new jacket only when Todd's earned enough Marlboro bucks to turn him in. You know, that's what it's like being raised by a single father. It's like being raised by a roommate who hates you. So you're eating all the food and you're not paying any of the rent. I tried to be a good wingman for my dad because I knew what having a stepmom would mean. It would probably mean like lunches, right? Okay, what are women good for? Okay. I'm kidding. I tried to be a good wingman, though, because I wanted him to find somebody. I didn't want to take care of him for the rest of my life. So I tried to, you know, guys, when you have, like, you try to attract ladies, you take something cute and tiny with you, take, like, your little niece and nephew with you places. Ladies will be like, oh, cute, you know. Take your, like, cute dog to the dog park. You'll attract all sorts of strange. If you take your crippled daughter to the dog park, you're welcome, Todd, right?
Get out of the trenches of tedious tasks like managing order fulfillment and start growing your business with ShipStation. They'll help increase profitability by automating your workflow with their simple, easy-to-use dashboard. With it, you can pretty much do everything you need to quickly and easily. Update order information, print labels, compare rates, optimize shipments, and even set up automatic delivery notifications. And it doesn't matter where you sell. Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, ShipStation can integrate pretty much anywhere online. Another great thing about ShipStation? They can help reduce costs with industry-leading discounted rates from some of the biggest mail carriers. You might even be able to get up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. So, make this year your most profitable one yet. Sign up for your free 30-day trial at ShipStation.com and use the code Spotify. That's ShipStation.com with the code Spotify.
All right, and we're back, and through the magic of podcasting, I love that sound.
You
That's
know,
like
Ben,
my favorite thing.
I love that sound too, but like, how many episodes are we in now? It's that sound every time. We could do
It's kind of
literally any
losing
sound
its
we
magic.
want. Yeah.
No way.
Changing up the sound
Stupid.
effects could be exactly the spritz.
I
they
think the
need.
magic of podcasting is that sound effect could be anything. It could be through the magic of podcasting.
Oh, well, that's crass.
I don't know. I think it's
I-
got
I-
a feel.
We could aim a little higher, like antique bike horn.
No, I'm not opposed to the antique bike horn. There's a familiarity to it that I like.
Okay, all right. How about through through the magic of podcasting, and then it's just a tirade by Alex Jones.
What is my problem? Ugh. Ah!
Boom.
Let's make some really cool work for Ron.
Fine, let's do a new one every week, but we come back to the chime sometimes because I'm telling you, you're going to notice our fans. We're going to lose some.
No,
So-
now they're good. Now
if
they're
we lose
trained.
them over that, you know what? Good riddance. I'll just say it.
They were never really our friends to begin with.
Yeah, if they're coming just for that magic chime, I don't think I want them listening to this show.
So we're back. It has now been a week later since we set the challenge for ourselves to get rid of an item each day in the hopes of reducing clutter from our lives. And first of all, let's just start it off. Were you both able to get rid of an item each day?
Oh, baby, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So why don't we do this? Why don't we go through and list what we think our top 3 items are?
Okay.
And I will say this too. I wanted to add this at the beginning. My favorite challenge we've done yet. I love this shit. It challenges me because I find myself wanting to like hold on to shit. I don't know. We'll get into it. But who wants to start? Who
That
wants
is
to go
again
with
weird
that
because
first?
I've seen the inside of your apartment, and it would
And there's
seem
nothing
like
there.
you have an aversion to anything.
I mean, I do have stuff. It's just I did find that with this, I had to go more sentimental because there are certain things I have quantities of. We
Tell
should
us what these certain things you have quantities
Yeah, what are
of
these certain things? you have?
T-shirts.
What are
I
these?
collect T-shirts, so I have a
Exactly,
lot.
black band.
Band T-shirts.
Faded
stuff.
Rockies t-shirts. How many do you have of these?
I don't have
faded
any.
black
I only have
Rockies
one Rockies T-shirt. That one you see me wearing a lot is the same one. I did. I
Okay,
got
I'll
rid of
start
them.
because I also got rid of a lot of t-shirts, and I would bet even after I radically reduced my t-shirt collection, I bet I have more t-shirts than you've been. I have so many goddamn t-shirts. So many t-shirts. It's insane. And I forget that I even have them.
Now we're not talking at all. You're not including your linen collection, are you? Your drapey linens.
You know, I already
That's not-
donated. I already donated the linens a while ago.
Oh, Bombay Orvidal.
So where do you get your? Are they like what? What are your T-shirts? You have a lot of band
I have
shirts.
a lot of band shirts, and then I have like shirts that in the moment I'm like, oh yeah, it's the logo from the Metal Gear video game. This is a cool shirt, and I get it, and I might wear it like once or twice, and then I just like forget it exists, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I bought this basically a novelty T-shirt.
I got a good recipe for giving t-shirts away because I got tons of t-shirts.
Yeah.
It's a little neurotic, but hear me out.
Okay.
When you have like your stacks of t-shirts in the drawer, put the new ones that are clean at the bottom, right? So you're constantly like rotating the shirts. And then if one comes up and you're like, I don't want to wear that, and you skip it, fucking get rid of it.
That's
dude.
actually
That's
that's
a
not
smart
neurotic.
system.
That's actually really smart. Yeah.
But what if
because
it's like a color thing where you're like, I'm not gonna wear this orange T-shirt with my
Well,
blue
I have an
pants.
orange Bronco one that's often passed, but I'll wear it on game days. So it's like, okay, that
so
one.
if there's
you
a
understand.
good reason, you can skip.
There's exceptions, but make sure it's a good reason. Don't be
'Cause I
"But
do-
I like it. Like
I
get rid
do
of it."
the opposite, which is I put the ones that I'm like, oh, I'm not wearing that anytime soon. I slip it to the bottom of the pile, and then I just forget about it.
That's what everybody
And
does.
yeah, and so like when I did this challenge, I ended up getting rid of a stack of those. I had duplicate shirts from the same band. I don't even know how I got.
Were they different
Uh,
sizes? Like maybe you're like, well, I
no,
take
they
on
were the
water
s-
at certain times of the month, and I want
They're the same size. I'm willing to bet I'm at a show, like we're playing it, and I get distracted, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool shirt, and I buy it, and then 45 minutes later, I go by and I have some, and I'm like, hey, that's a cool shirt. I'll buy it.
boy.
And then I
They're like,
buy
well,
the same shirt.
They
Man,
feel
you-
bad for capitalizing on your early onset dementia, but they're doing it anyway.
Yeah, you have all of the side effects of alcoholism with none of the fun.
All right,
Bought
Adam.
the same shirt twice.
Adam, what's yours? What's your first one?
Well, like none of my stuff is that exciting. I was more focusing on different ways of giving things away.
Oh, yeah.
outside the
that
box. of how to give
works. That
shit
works.
away.
Yeah.
So like day one, Katie and I had just had so much extra Malcolm stuff. People give you gifts that you don't need. So we boxed up a bunch of Malcolm. I mean, literally 40 items, took them to Goodwill. That was day one.
What kind of stuff?
But not the stuff that I gave him, right?
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. It's like I was taking pictures and she's like, you're not putting this up on Pinterest. Like, all the people that gave us gifts would be like, oh, I guess they didn't like it. And they're like touting it on the internet.
Sorry, I contributed to the clutter of your home.
So those will not be photographed or talked about in any specific detail. But like the next day, I've been kind of combing through my record collection over quarantine anyway, and just removing ones that I don't listen to. And so I had a stack of like 12, and I went over to Twist and Shout. I made an appointment because that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
And they went through my vinyl and they bought some, and I bought most of it was scratched. That's why I gave it away. So I only had enough for one album, but I bought Burnin', the Wailers album.
Oh, wow.
Like, I didn't have that. And I find reggae is really good for little babies. They like respond to like the upstroke and they like to dance to reggae.
Yeah.
So I bought
Trust
the
Fund Babies at
Burnin' by the
CU.
Wailers. It was
Trust fund babies.
Trust Fund Babies.
Trust fund babies.
Trust Fund Babies is a hell of a cartoon. Holy shit.
Their parents making their dreams come true. Yeah, that's
On this episode of Trust Fund Babies, one of the babies killed a prostitute, and they hang out in the Caribbean for 2 months while it cools down.
I like that way of doing it. I actually think that's an interesting way, is trying different ways. That's a
That's
different
an
take
advance,
of it.
Like you took the challenge up a notch.
Well,
Yeah.
I was trying to think of things that that our listeners could do. And another thing I did was like little free libraries. Found a bunch of books, popped them in little free libraries.
Oh, yeah.
And then one other thing that I did was like
Your
I
collection
have
of 17th century erotica.
Did you get rid of it?
uh,
Which libraries did you go to?
thoroughly perused paperback Twilight. Oh yeah, that went out the door.
And your books on shibari and bondage techniques are in the little library at
Outside St.
Montview.
Elizabeth's Catholic School. The other thing I did was like I've borrowed shit from people. I had my friend Darren's graphic novel, and I had finished it, and it's just been sitting on my desk for a while. So I like biked it over to Darren's house and gave it back.
Ah,
Like
gotcha.
that type of shit. So
Well,
just
that's-
thinking of ways of different myriads of ways one can get rid of things.
Yeah,
Well, I
So
like that.
I did the challenge.
I went purely sentimental. I tried to get rid of things that I felt sentimental about, because I struggle with that, because I believe that sentimentality sometimes trails very easily into consumerism and our feelings about objects that we sometimes that we're conditioned to believe that the object contains the memory. And so I tend to hold on to things for a long time, long after. So like my first one, this is silly, but I do this a lot. I keep old running shoes.
Wow.
And
Weird.
like, look, this is how beat up they are. People can't see this, but I'll put it on Patreon. This is a groove notched out in the sole of the shoe from climbing ropes at blunt force.
It
So
looks like a dog just took a bite out of it.
that's from sliding back down the rope when you're coming down. It burned a hole
Jesus,
through the
dude.
sole. And I was
Why
still
would
wearing
you hold
this.
on to these? These are
He
For those who
loved
can't see
climbing
this,
the
these are
rope and he loved sliding down
destroyed
it. And he wanted a
shoes.
memento of.
And they're also very strangely an early 90s Florida Marlins
Well-
aquamarine and orange color combo.
Yeah, so when I got these for doing a series of commercials for Pearl Izumi. They gave me a ton for doing this. They knew I was into running, and they gave me a bunch of running gear, and I did this set of web commercials for them. But I have problem getting rid of them because I feel like I put so many miles on them working out and running that I feel sentimental about them, and I have trouble getting rid of them. So these are going to be thrown away, and this was hard for me. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I hold on to.
Well, what I notice is that you've not thrown them away
Yeah,
yet.
because
You're
you
still
just had them in your
holding
hand.
on to them right now as we podcast.
Yeah, but they've just been sitting there, and I'll put them on and I'll wear them sometimes, and I'm like, this is damaging my back and my hips. I know this is not good for me at all.
Wow, Ben, that's crazy. I didn't know you had this side of you. Because, like, again, Andrew and I make jokes, but you go through your apartment, it seems pretty sparse. We didn't know that in the closet were like
There's 40
destroyed tennis
disgusting
shoes.
running shoes.
Yeah, that's a tough one. All
It's
right,
like the
Andrew.
reverse sneakerhead. You know, like those. All the sneakerheads have like pristine shoes they never wear, just filling up their closet. And Ben has just this graveyard.
I'm not
of
joking.
Sneakers.
Like 10 or 12 pairs of shoes that are destroyed that I can't part with. I have trouble getting rid of shoes that I've worn in.
I kind of that. My shoes have to be pretty destroyed for me to get rid of them because I'm always like, well, I'll save these for like if it's a muddy day, I'll use these as like I can always justify a scenario where I'll need the item no matter what it is. So my shoes have to be messed up, or I have to hate the shoes.
There are a lot of muddy days out at your house. I mean, we know that it's only muddy days now.
Yep, emotionally, but.
Man, that's the saddest. That's the saddest COVID cancellation for me is Lakewood's annual Muddy Days festival. Like, I really am bummed that I'm not going to get to go to that.
All right, Andrew.
I had a similar thing with you attach the sentimentality, and sometimes there's not even. It's like nothing. Like I'm like, wait, there's no like memory here. Like I found this wallet, an old wallet of mine, and it was huge for some reason. I bought this wallet. I have a picture. Buckle up, Patreon users, if you want to see the world's biggest wallet.
A real Costanza wallet.
No joke. It's like, it's like, it was huge. It was this ridiculous size wallet. I have no...
For those of you that are listening that don't know, he's describing it the size of, I don't know, what would you...
waffle iron or something.
Yeah. What a weird... That's your. Well,
big.
You do measure everything in waffle irons. You're like, how many waffle irons?
That should be the imperial unit of measurement. It's
agreed. Agreed. It clear things up for everyone.
How many waffle iron square is
Belgium?
This?
Belgium would dominate the world economy. Belgium finally shoots to the forefront.
I live in a 1,000 waffle iron square house. But this. Wallet was so big, and I gave it up long ago because it sucked. It was huge. It was like, it probably gave me like German Shepherd hips, this goddamn wallet I've been sitting on for so long, just like an artificial butt cheek. It was so big. So I gave it up years ago, but then I came across it in my shit. Like, why did I save this wallet? I hated it while I had it. And there was, and it had old things in it. It had old receipts. It had old pictures from even before I was married. And this stuff, and I think when I swapped out wallets, I must have been like, I'll save this because it has like memories in it or whatever.
This has got 5 punches on a 10 free coffee
seriously,
card.
it had all kinds of shit like that.
Andrew texted us about this, and it's the funniest goddamn thing. Please.
No, it's not funny. It's like chilling and sad.
And that is comedy.
I came across these business cards for comedians. They're the homemade business cards that we all had when we started out, where it's like, you printed them at home. You can feel that perforated edge on them, whatever. And a lot of them, I couldn't remember the comedian. I couldn't remember working with them, and I couldn't even put a face to the name. So to stall in my effort to clean my room, I started looking up their websites on my phone. I'd be like, who is this person? And all of them, except for the ones that I immediately recognized and, still know, all the ones I didn't remember, they're just gone. There's no website. I Googled their name plus comedian. There is nothing. They have just faded away. They went into some other career. They just disappeared. But at one point, we crossed paths and we exchanged our rudimentary little business cards. And then they're just...
And that was it.
It was
and you know what?
All right.
We in stand-up have a name for those people who disappear and leave. We call them heroes. That's what we call them. We call them.
We're pivoting. This is no longer Grolic Saves the World. This is a chilling, quasi-true crime podcast where we find these sad comedians. It's called Features Ghost Town, and we track them down and tell their horrible tales.
This one's a sad one. Word is that the Grolix boys are out in a garden in Raleigh, North Carolina, digging up remains. We found him.
Yeah, it felt like they'd just been vanished. It was
they did.
It was sobering. But the other problem with that wallet, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm always like, I'm one of those people that loves to obsess over the proper way to dispose of something. Like, is this recyclable? Is this not? Should this even go in the trash? No,
I do that for sure.
Hypercritical of how I dispose of things. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this leather object. If I put it in the trash, it'll last so long because, it's leather's chemically treated and it's made to not degrade. And you can't recycle leather that I know of. And I was like, well, I could save it if I need to patch something with a leather patch. I'll have this
Jesus
giant waffle
Christ.
iron-sized square of leather that I can put it. And I was like, no. It's going in the fucking trash immediately. Go march your ass in there and put it in the fucking trash. And that's
I love that you have to fight off this Depression era voice in your head all the time. That's like,
Well, what's funny is I was like, at first, my first instinct was to be like, Andrew, come on, that's too much. And like in quarantine times, I was like, maybe let's hear him out. Like, let's see how far down Cormac McCarthy's The Road we go here.
what about you, Adam? What's your second one?
I mean, I kind of gave them all. Like those are the things I gave away. It was just like books and things I'd borrowed.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You know what? This is just a funny one. It's just shit that I feel like people have stuff that just gathers at their house and you mean to get to it, but you never get to it. So like Katie is a very thoughtful mother, and on Valentine's Day this year, she like will have Malcolm like paint. She will get in the bathtub and give him paper and paint, and he paints a bunch of pages, and then she'll like cut it into hearts, and she sent out Valentines to some of his friends and like our friends, and just like, Malcolm made you a Valentine. It was very nice. One of them bounced back for whatever reason, like returned to sender, and it's been sitting on our fucking coffee table downstairs. So in a stern moment, I made Katie resend that Valentine. And,
resend it.
You will be sending this Valentine's out today.
And Katie agreed. She agreed it is overdue. So we sent out a August Valentine to
Save it for
Malcolm's
the
friend
Christmas
Aiden.
newsletter. Jesus Christ.
Forced Valentine. Wow.
Forced belated Valentine left Casa de Caton Hollow.
And I played bass
Whoever
in
gets
Forced
that is going to be
Valentine.
pretty confused.
Yeah, exactly. They're
Fortunately, the recipient is a 1-year-old who might just be elated at the heart, regardless of when it comes in the mail.
I got this. So this was a sentimental one. I did one book as well. I did a book. I gave away
that is a great
Ishmael
book.
by Daniel Quinn, and this book.
Again, Ben is holding the item he gave away. Just so our listeners know,
No,
Ben
I'm
is
gonna
holding the item he got rid of.
I took the videos for the Patreon page this morning, and I'm probably going to buy another copy of this. But this book changed my life. I read it when I was like 17 or 18, and that was the book that like this book made me like see the world different. You know, when you read at a certain
Ben,
form.
as a sentient ape, to hear your story put so eloquently down on the page.
I had that book
I
on my
can't imagine
bookshelf
how
for so
illuminating
long
that was for you.
and didn't read it because I read the back and I was like, I'm not reading this bullshit. And then I finally read it and I did enjoy it.
I think I read it at that point where I needed, like, where it just clicked with me, and that was a book that really changed my view of humanity and how we interact with each other. It was just, I think he wrote that book brilliantly, and I've always had a copy of it, but I kind of wanted to give it away because I want to put it in one of those little libraries or give it away to a Goodwill, and maybe some young person will find it and read it, and it'll have that same effect on them, because it was definitely a book where I started realizing we have to be more considerate of how we do things, because this is untenable the way we're doing it.
I love that. It's like pay your enlightenment forward.
Yeah, or the beginning of it. At least open the door maybe for something. I mean, and I know.
Drop it outside a MAGA rally and just see what happens.
This is a book about a monkey? I didn't come from no monkey. Bring me that torch and I'm burning this.
Andrew, that's spot on.
Yeah, I mean, I hear him every day. So,
all right. Well, what's your number 3? Do you have a third
I got
one?
rid of some big stuff too. I got rid of a Lego set, as some of our listeners will know. I do have a Lego collection. When I moved from LA back to Denver a couple years ago, I gave away like half of my Lego collection, which was pretty insane. But I still had a sizable collection. And one of the things I had was this Lego movie theater. It's the Palace Cinema. It's one of those big sets. And I had been saving it because that's my problem, is I'll save things that I really like. It's like a t-shirt that I really like. I won't wear it because I don't want to wear it out. Oh, I better save that. And so this was a Lego set that I had not opened and had not built because I was like, oh man, this is so cool. I'm saving this. And so it's been sitting
It's like how I treat our friendship, Andrew. Like, I don't want to go do every invite because it would just wear this friendship out. So I'm
so
saving
none
it.
of them. And then the first one will be like a...
He's
Like a
keeping
real party.
your friendship in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want it to be
It's a
pristine and mint
collectible.
condition.
Okay, cool.
And then maybe he'll sell it on eBay someday.
yeah, there you go.
Mint condition Andrew friendship.
Gently used.
Producer Ron just points out that Lego set retails for $300.
Yeah, it's a big set, and it's discontinued. You can't buy it now. But so it's been languishing in my closets over and over. I'd move houses, whatever, move rooms. It just sits in the closet, sits in the closet, sits in the closet, sits in the closet. And so finally I was like, I don't have the room to build this. I'm not going to be building it anytime soon. So I decided I donated it to the Dolls and Miniatures Museum, which is about to open up
Nice.
again in August.
Whoa.
Because I was like,
Oh,
where would
that's
be a
great.
cool home for? And I don't even know if they'll use it. I don't know if they'll like build it and use it or what. But they can do whatever they want with it.
That's super awesome. That's really cool. Why didn't you build it with Amelia at some point? I know you do that.
Yeah,
you built.
we built a good amount of Legos, but for whatever reason, we never built.
When I used to bring Milo when he was when he was little over to your house, you'd have your display Legos, your don't touch those Legos. And then you'd have your scrap heap shit Legos that you would give as like a pittance to any child that came over. Remember, Milo was like, oh my God, you had like a Millennium Falcon and like you had all kinds of cool Star Wars, like really amazing ones. And Milo would be like, can I play with that? And you'd be like, maybe no. Why don't we do this? And you'd have like a
Impression. I want
Tupperware
this
bin
impression to
filled
keep
with
going.
with all the extra leavings, the chaff from all the
Shaft
other.
of the sets, all of the.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and you'd be like, "Why don't you put together something on your own
Why don't you
with
make your
this?"
own Millennium Falcon out of a bunch of yellow and red city pieces?
Yeah, all the little real thin pieces. You know what I'm talking about.
But then it's like, it is a relief. Things start to like weigh on you. It's like you open up your closet, you see that, and you're like, why do I have this thing? If we could blow the sentimentality horn, Ron, if you've got that queued up. Thank you. I was going to talk about something that I found that I did not get rid of. So as I was cleaning my room, thank you. So as I was cleaning my room, I came across this old notebook, and I almost just threw it away out of hand. Seeing
Yeah,
it.
it's trash.
Yeah.
And,
But I
yeah.
happened to open it up, and in it, I had all these like diary entries from 2012 when I was going through my divorce. I had apparently been instructed by my therapist or something to write these diary entries.
That was for your 60th birthday, right?
Yes, I got myself a
Slam
therapist
dunk.
for my 60th
Hey, Ben.
birthday.
Did you not hear the sentimentality?
Oh,
This
I'm
is
sorry. I'm
offsides.
sorry.
You can't
I'm
do that.
sorry.
That's
I'm
a
sorry.
foul.
So,
Give the guy a break. That's a foul.
Is that what the sentimentality
Sorry.
horn means? It means
It means no dunking for like a minute.
Oh, okay.
after the
I'm
horn
sorry.
is
Yeah,
aired.
I gotta go
so I
sit in
better
the
tell
box.
this
I'm sorry.
anecdote
Yeah.
quickly before
Yeah.
the enforcers get
Well,
back
you're
on
on
the ice.
You're on a power play right now
Okay.
because I'm in the box right now.
Well, I'll try to get
Yeah, no,
this
so you get-
story out as quickly
as long
I
as
can.
the story plays, Ben's in the box, and I'll bite my tongue. Go ahead.
Okay, I know it's hard for you.
I know.
So I had these like journal entries. As I was reading them, I was like, I don't even remember writing these. Like,
Whoa.
and they were like, it was like very sad and everything. And so after I read most of them, I was like, well, I should throw this away. These are like sad memories, and it's a notebook that I didn't even know existed. So I should throw this away. But I ultimately decided to keep them just as like a time capsule of sorts of like that time
Mhm.
period to. It's not like the kind of thing that I would go back and like, oh, I'm going to read these sad things of like the saddest summer that I ever lived, basically.
Yeah.
But just to like have that perspective and like read it.
Yeah.
And like I
maybe-
said, it was
maybe
like
it's-
reading something that another person wrote. Like I did not
Or
remember the mind space that I was even in to write those things. So it
Or
was
maybe it's
pretty
in the
interesting.
future if you have another hard breakup, or there's some time where you're down. Just a reminder that you've pulled through before
Totally,
and that
yeah.
you were able to work.
So I
through it.
ultimately kept that. So there's like things that are worth keeping, I would say.
I
That's
got
great. That's great because while we can't make fun of you here, if you are a Patreon member, Ben and I will read through that journal for Patreon members and sort of just kind of riff off of it.
Oh, man.
But you got to sign up for Patreon to get that.
That's
That
way
would be the
more
most fucked up
terrible
thing.
than what I said.
No, I completely agree with Ben. It's a good thing to have around. And who knows if you want to use that to learn from down the road, or like, not to be callous, but like say you have some project you're working on about your life or something and you want to like access that place to write about it. There you go.
Totally.
Yeah, and especially since you don't remember that, that's the most fascinating part about that. I got my last one. I got rid of. This one was hard for me because this has been in the back of my closet, and this is my
Again, hasn't gotten rid of anything.
I wanted to be able to show them. So when this is my very first jujitsu gi.
Oh.
It's my
Wow.
and I got it in
You should have blasted the siren. I'm sorry.
almost 20 years ago when I first took Japanese jiu-jitsu, and I've kept that for the same reason. I was always like, well, maybe I'll go back and train at that school where I got that sometime, and I'm just not going to go back to that. I don't have the time. I'm in a different place in my life with just the amount of time I have, and I'm always thinking, I can't get rid of it because it feels like it's disrespectful in some manner, but it's not. And that was the hard one for me to get rid of. I actually sat staring at it for a while, but I honestly haven't looked at it. I kept saying maybe I'll have it framed or I'll do something like with the belts that I got from that particular, because I got pretty high up in that discipline. And then I really value those little pieces of cloth. They give you the belts I keep. But then I remembered that it's not, like I said, that this is just to me, it's an aberration of consumerism to attach memories to objects. I mean, I still remember it. It just is a trigger
and you
for
can
what's
donate
inside me.
it, and a 9-year-old can play ninja with it. So
Yeah, exactly. And a 9-year-old that hopefully is 5'10" and at that time almost 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So this is a big kid we're talking about. This is a
I
big
just
boy.
can't believe the condition it's in. Like based off the one time I did jujitsu and the amount I sweated, I can't believe a 20-year-old gi isn't
Just
like
shredded.
upright. Like
Well,
well,
this
that's why
is
they make
so-
them so
the
thick.
room.
That's why
Just
they're
fucking-
12 ply.
No, so this is the difference. See, when I started doing jujitsu, I did not know that there was a difference between Japanese jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And for those who take it, they know it is two different worlds. Like it's a totally
Yeah, Japan and Brazil.
yeah, but I mean the actual discipline and what you do. So the sweating and the rolling around and what we call randori, the actual training like you did, the wrestling, you don't do that as much in Japanese. You don't do it. We didn't do it at all. So there wasn't as much sweat coated in that. And I first went to a Japanese jiu-jitsu school, got to brown belt, which is very high up there, but not the same as a brown belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That is a way different level. They're competitive. So I went to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school, a
Hang on, I'm writing
submission
this down.
wrestling school.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
telling you, I walked into the gym. I told them I'm a brown belt, and they were like, oh, cool. And then they beat the dog shit out of me for like 2 hours straight. I thought they were trying to kill me. And they were like, I thought you said
That's
you
hilarious.
did jujitsu. And I'm like, I do Japanese jujitsu. And they were like, oh, yeah,
Different
it's not the
system,
same. It's
bro.
not the same thing. Yeah, we train way harder. Yeah. So then I switched and I gave up. So that was a sentimental giveaway. It's been clogging up there's not a lot of stuff back there, but it's been
That's
taking
a
up
huge
space.
one. That is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Points to Ben because that's a very sentimental one.
Yeah.
I don't have a hard like I think you guys come to my house and I have a lot of shit and I have a lot of stuff that I'm very sentimental about, but I don't have any problem getting rid of superfluous stuff. I feel like the sentimental stuff rises to the place that it rises to and you keep it for that reason. And then sometimes you take a hard look in the mirror and you're like, I don't need this shit. Like I gave away a drawer, not this time, but just getting rid of stuff of like all these old comedy flyers and things that meant a lot to me at the time. First time I was on a flyer, first time I did it. It's like, who needs that shit?
Yeah.
because it's like you're at some point you're kind of like building an altar to yourself.
Yeah, a
Like,
shrine to yourself. Yeah,
yeah, it's
for
like,
sure.
Just get off your own dick. Like, you did a bunch of comedy shows, throw them in
I
the
found a
trash.
bunch of
Exactly.
CD-ROMs of old performances.
One of the items I got rid of, not yet, but coming up, is my last CD booklet.
Holy shit! Pull some
Yeah,
out.
let's see.
Pull
Let's see
out
what
some
we're
Case
gonna get.
Logics.
No, I got some good stuff. I got a at the
Dropkick
drive-in.
Murphys one.
good.
No, at the drive-in via.
Okay.
I got Minor Threat. I got some
Yeah.
Fugazi. I've got what else? I've got Coheed and Cambria because I'm a big Coheed and Cambria nerd. The only CD I took out of it and I wouldn't get rid of it is I'm wearing his shirt too. This is really sad, but it is a Cat Stevens album. But Jay Retard, The Descendants, Panic. Hot Water Music. Come on, they're all good. Candiria, you remember that band, Andrew? I mean, it's just
So what are
stuff
you
I
gonna
used
do?
to
You're
listen
just gonna
to.
throw them away? I had a bunch of CDs.
No, I'm gonna give them away.
I just put
I'm
them in the
gonna give 'em away.
recycling bin. I didn't know
Yeah,
what to do with
yeah.
them.
Yeah, exactly. If you try to sell used CDs at like second spin, but you will get 8 cents for all those. Like you think my vinyl offerings?
I have
meager. Try to
hundreds of
get
my
rid
comedy
CDs.
CDs all wrapped up, and I was like, I wonder if I could just find a place that buys you CDs and be like, I have hundreds of this album for you.
Yeah, they'll be like, sure, we'll take them. What are you going to pay us? What do you want to give us to take these off your
out
hands?
of your garage. Yeah.
We should all three have a mission. You remember that movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy?
Yeah.
Where the like Coke bottle drops out of the sky and the guy walks to the supposed end of the earth to throw it off the end of the earth.
Yeah.
We should all take our unused merch, the three of us,
To
to
Africa?
like Black Canyon
Oh.
Gorge or something like that. Just let it go.
Yeah.
No one will
Let it
ever know
go.
who did it too, when they find 120,000 copies with our names all over them.
This just says dick jokes for artists on it. That's You sent us a text, Andrew, real quick before we finish this up. You had a full Kylo Ren suit.
I did.
Did you
I have
not
gotten
give
rid
that
of it.
away?
No, I don't have any takers.
So you are getting rid of that,
No,
though,
I
because
am.
that's a
If somebody
big
will
item.
buy it. It's worth a good sum of money. It is a very nice. If anyone's listening to this, it's a very nice cosplay quality Kylo Ren costume from The Force Awakens.
Look,
Because
look what our podcast has descended into.
my daughter, years ago, my daughter wanted to be Rey for Halloween, and we worked so hard on her costume. The props master Ruby, who
Her costume
ruled
was
on our
amazing.
show, helped me finish her costume. The hairdresser on our show helped me learn how to do Rey's hairstyle. So those who can't crew came through with that. So I got a Kylo Ren costume as well. I always dress up on Halloween in a related costume to whatever Amelia dresses up as. So I got this insane
Yeah.
Kylo Ren costume that I no longer want or need. So if you are a small man like me,
Okay, yeah, this is now turning into like some sort of antique roadshow for Andrew's items. We're not
what
we're
better
not a
place than our
reseller here.
podcast I'm using this now as my own e-commerce site.
I don't know, dude. I feel like you should hold on to it. It's pretty badass. Like you might.
I didn't
It's an
even
easy
like the
go-to
last
Halloween.
two movies. I don't even see myself ever dressing up as it. As,
But
as
you
it
are
did.
the Kylo Ren.
The last time I wore it was a couple years ago, and I got really drunk, and I dressed up in it and was shooting a basketball in it with my friends.
This is my exact point. That's awesome. And like you might.
I mean, I feel like
You
it
might need
peaked.
to do something like that
I feel like
again.
it peaked with that.
Well, that's
Fair enough.
amazing. You should we'll post a photo of it too. It is insane how ornate it is. It's
Points to you as well, Andrew, because that if you give that away, that's a really hard.
I'm not
one.
giving
I
it
think
away.
Yeah.
I'm selling
that
it
thing rules. Got it.
for the last time. I'm not.
okay. So when you give it
Hundreds of
away,
dollars. I'm not giving it away.
so is this something that you'll both do and continue to do in the future?
Totally.
I mean,
I
this
give
something-
away. I make regular runs to Goodwill
Me too.
to
Me too.
donate stuff, but it has been helpful to purposefully go through and get rid of stuff for sure.
And
Yeah.
it's really helpful when you're doing it as a challenge for like a week because I would walk through rooms ruthlessly and be like, okay, what can be taken from this room? And it sort of puts you in the mode.
I will definitely continue to do this as I just think it feels good. It feels liberating and to know that you're
Again, for the listener,
not
Ben still
surrounded by
has
a ton
every
of
single
stuff.
thing he said he gave away.
Listen, it's on the bed. I'm making some choices. These were early determinations.
These are the
I'm probably gonna keep the running shoes. I'm just letting you know.
I think wherever you fall on the spectrum, whether you're me and you're like, I can get rid of some shit, whether you're Ben and you've clearly got some psychological issues around the items, or whether you're Andrew and you're just trying to desperately use this platform to sell your stupid sci-fi shit, it's good to look at what you have and why you have it.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to some live stand-up comedy from our live show. This is one of our favorites. He is a Jim in the crown of Denver comedy. This is Aaron Urist.
And when we come back, we'll reveal next week's challenge.
When I was growing up, I had a favorite book, a children's book called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Do you guys remember that book? Yeah, probably read it as a kid. Maybe you've read it to your kids. If you haven't read it, the basic plot of the book is do not give a mouse a cookie because he'll want other stuff, which is a fucking mean book to write for kids to read. That book has like a far right-wing agenda that I was not aware of as a young Jewish boy that I've recently put together in my mind. It does. Think about it. It's like, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. And if you give him a glass of milk, he's going to want citizenship and health care, Social Security. Where does it end? That's why genocide. We have to build a wall. Fuck those mice. Didn't know that Ayn Rand was writing fucking children's books. I went out to dinner recently, and we went and got Cajun food, which was very nice, very spicy, very tasty type of... I don't know why I'm explaining what Cajun food is to you. You probably already know what it is. It's a delicious type of food from Casia. We were sitting in the restaurant, and the waiter came over to our table, and he was this big, ridiculous Cajun cartoon character man, and he was like, "Good evening. Our special tonight is a jambalaya. You gotta try it. Our jambalaya is so delicious, it'll make you smack your mama." And I thought that was hilarious because I really like the idea of food so good that it like turns you into a terrible person. That really speaks to me in my experience. Like, yeah, try the etouffee. Etouffee's so good it'll make you sleep with your best friend's wife. It's amazing. Try the she crab soup. That shit'll make you abandon your toddler at the movie theater. You never done like this before. It's good to be bad. Asked to see a dessert menu, and he's like, "You're not built for prison, son. No, don't do this. You're not ready for what them beignets are gonna do to you."
Oh, wow. What an episode we had this week. I'm telling you, this is one of my favorites. It felt good to shed some shit. Real quick, I just wanted to plug, some of you know, some of our listeners already know, I have another podcast. It's called 97.9, The Rat Race. It's a really fun show where myself and Chris Mars, who was Andrew and Adam know, and another actress, Beth Hoyt, we have a show. It's a fake morning Zoo Cruise show. We have some big news coming up with that very shortly. So if you can, follow us on Twitter. It's at 979 The Rat Race.
If you aren't following us on Patreon, please do. It's a great way to show support and help us out during weird times. And also, there's all sorts of great bonus content. Like this week, we have video of Ben giving stuff away. And I've seen this footage, and it is fucking hot. It is.
It's gripping.
It's
right?
NSFW. Don't open at work, because this is like some spicy footage of Ben giving stuff away.
You just body oiled before you drove to Goodwill? Wow. We appreciate you listening. You can check out this podcast anywhere you enjoy your podcasts. If you could do us a huge favor and rate and review it if you do enjoy it. Also, tell your friends. Friends always want to know what you're listening to because you have better taste than them. So just throw it into a conversation. and
Hold
let
your
them know about
friends
this
down,
show.
stick your earbuds in their ears. What are you doing?
And you can find us on social media at Grawlix Comedy.
And as always, we'd like to thank undercover hoarder Ron Doyle for everything he does for making this show happen. If you could see his space behind him where he produces this from, you would say he needs to give a few things away. But in the meantime, we love him.
Our theme music is provided by the mask-denying Charlie Continental.
hey, that is slanderous.
And as far as I wanted to talk to you guys, next episode's challenge.
What are we doing?
I was going to say, a couple episodes back, we all went inside each other with the personality test to learn more about each person and how we operate. This one, I say we go inside ourselves. Yeah,
I did that
Andrew.
once when I was a teenager, and I didn't.
You
ever
never
wanna
went
do it
back,
again.
did you? Well,
No.
we're going to do it again. So
Way ahead of you. I just came out.
We're talking
I
about
I was inside myself the whole time we were talking.
Anyway, this is probably my favorite part of the show. I don't want to make too big of a deal about it, but I love getting to say this. Play us out, Charlie.